The person less formal than you was Danny Thompson. I said it.
I didn't say anything. All right, we're on the air, I guess. Earnestly podcast, post game. And the first thing we get to is him fucking laughing like fucking crazy.
You know, we're on the air, I guess. Why don't you just say, sup, bitches?
Hey, buddy. Big Jim, Kyle Nash. What's up? Post game, week 4, post game, Speaking podcast, post game. As we are actually, recording during, the Tom Brady Bowl. Tom Brady returns to New England. It's still 3-0.
Yeah, a real barn burner. Keeps everybody awake on a Sunday night. And we're just holding on to that last bit of freedom before punching in on a Monday.
Hey, any chance I strip again this week on this show, Jim?
What's that?
Oh, Kyle won't get this though, but Big Jim was on the Take 3 this past Thursday. And so my co-host Joe, he's funny as shit. What did he say? He goes like, your shirt would be more gayer. I was wearing a Star Wars shirt. First off, It bothered me to begin with him even saying that. He said if your shirt were any gayer, I would. If your shirt were any gayer, I would blow you behind a restaurant.
It was something. It was something about it would be like him blowing some guy behind a restaurant. Now keep in mind he's a gay man.
Now Joe's gay for the record.
That helps actually.
Yes. That's an important detail to the story.
So otherwise he just sounds like a douche, and I'm like, listen, if you're gonna make that attack,
Joe's awesome.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna make that attack, what I would have done is said, hey, listen, if it were any gayer, I think you'd start in the birdcage. That's where you go with that, right?
No, but like this funny thing is like we were doing a WWE draft, for a good hour of the show, and like he drafts guy based on who's the hottest guys. It adds a nice little wrinkle to the show, though. You know what I mean?
And then EJ then proceeded to take the shirt off
and show my nipples.
Right on the air. So we have a lot to live up to tonight.
So, somebody forgot to tell him that he is not John Cena and he can be seen.
And by the way, it's on video, so you go to my YouTube page, you can find it somewhere.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send my wife there so she has more affirmation of how attractive I actually am. Thanks, EJ. Boom! Hey, listen. After I gave you guys entertainment by actually having, a legitimate debate with somebody rather than just egging them on with thumbs up, I thought I was able to get a free shot at. I had built up enough goodwill to where I could take some shots today. I could take some shots today. That's all.
Also, I was given on a text. Some of our listeners who don't know this, but we us three we do have our own group text. It gets pretty fucking wild sometimes. Today, today Big Jim decides to not watch the Cowboys game today. Decides to go golfing because I guess his coupon.
We brought these discounted tee times, and they were going to expire soon, so we had to get the time in, and we couldn't all agree on a Saturday, and so we had to do a Sunday. And I have always said this: I would much rather not see a win than see a loss. And my football weekend held true to that because I was pissed yesterday, but I was happy today. I played a round of golf, and my Cowboys are still in first place.
We'll get into it in a second.
By the way, I'll say this though, and especially after having to stave off, Rodney Richardson, the biggest troll who regularly appears with me and Danny Thompson on Beyond the Buzzer.
Rodney Richardson?
Yeah,
that's an interesting name.
Man, I just work here, but the punchline is, I wanted to believe in the Carolina Panthers, but the Cowboys have made that quite certain that I cannot.
Fair enough.
In another division, maybe, but in the same division as the best roster in the NFL, i.e. the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And no, that's not necessarily because of Thomas Edward Brady. It's a big part of it, sure. But I can't believe in the Panthers like I had wanted to at one point.
Well, I already told you folks already. Take it. They're like the Broncos, take one step at a time with that team.
Yeah, I mean, to my next point. Thank you for making me correct about the Broncos as well, Ravens fans. All right.
Yeah. I mean, the injury to Bridgewater didn't help, but that team definitely.
It was a game though. It was within reach in some regards. I guess.
I mean, are you going to give me closer than the score? The closer than the score defense? Is that where you're at?
No, no. I actually think it's reversed. To be honest with you, like the score, it made it seem was a lot closer than the way the game was.
Than it really was. Oh, okay, okay. So they dominated them. They just didn't have a lot of points. Okay,
Right.
Okay.
So kind of like first half in the Cowboys-Eagles last Monday. Like the Cowboys were dominating the game, but because there was a turnover in the end zone that resulted in Philly getting 7, the score looked closer than the game was, and then the second half happened.
Well, and remember this about Baltimore football, gentlemen. Typically they're a team that goes up and just staves you off. This is what they do. And if you as a fan are somewhat, lacking a better word, cheesed about the fact that, it went this way. I mean, by the way, Lamar Jackson did throw for 300 and they ran it, but they still ran it for a good.
Don't tell the dumb people that because they're not gonna get that because he sucks apparently.
Oh no, listen, and I love that you put that in there, but like, listen, there was a time I had my doubts about Lamar Jackson, but he was still in college when that happened. When he was drafted 30th, I believe it was, to the Ravens, and they were going to court him as Flacco's replacement. I'm like, and that's where it began. Just like I can pinpoint the exact moment where I knew that J.J. Watt was my hero is when he picked off Andy Dalton right there on the line in a playoff game as a rookie. I was like, Anyways, but the Ravens ran it 30 times as well.
Yeah, I mean,
this is what they do.
Yeah, you don't set an NFL record for consecutive games with at least 100-yard rushing, thanks to John Harbaugh calling that rushing play with 1 second left on the clock. I love that, by the way.
Was that fucked up by him to do that? Was that
no,
okay?
No, because it's not like it's not like they ran up the score to do it. It was they're aware of a stat, they're aware of a record. I have no problem with them rushing for 6 yards and going out of bounds just to end the game.
Now, yeah. Because people today are so sensitive that shit like that. Like, oh, well, that's fucked up, man. The game's 21. What the hell?
Well, I've seen people like they get mad when like Green Bay in the fourth quarter, it was 4th and 4 on the Steelers 39-yard line, and they went for it. And I've seen people, and it's not even necessarily recently over the years. Oh well, why wouldn't they just punt it there or what? Well, like you go for it. If you get the first down, you're just going to take a knee and finish the game. But if you're not kicking a field goal, you're not adding points, you're not punting it back to them. If you don't get it, the Steelers get the ball. So like they're not going for it on 4th down to run up the score. They're just going for it to either turn it over on downs or you get the first down and you end the game with going to victory formation. It's not that big of a deal. And,
I'll see that and raise you Aaron Charlet Rodgers on top of that being much better than their defense anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the big takeaway for the weekend right now through week 4 rather, Arizona Cardinals 4-0. I think the more important part, the mean 4-0 is that 3 of their wins are on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted earlier, and I think it was more just because of who they played today. That was something, because I thought, Cardinals that they're improving. This is probably where they run into the wall. They've beaten Tennessee handedly, a close one against Minnesota, and they beat Jacksonville handedly. So I'm like, this is probably.
Well, I'd advise you to watch it with that handedly. That's one of those when it was closer than the score, but they overcame.
Yeah, they overcame, and we saw it again on Thursday night. And I immediately thought of our discussion last week, as it pertains to Urban Meyer and with the Jaguars, is they put first halves together, and then it slowly seems to crumble in their hands a little bit in the second half. We saw that again on Thursday. And that's what happened with Arizona. But I thought this was the week that, they're probably going to, maybe they'll keep it close, but the Rams have really shown out to start this year. And Arizona wasn't having it. They went on the road. They went into LA and they showed out. And that's an impressive win to me.
It is. But I will say this much. and I said this on the Football is Awesome podcast on Wednesday when I was doing my bets with Zach, and we were breaking down that game. I said that it wouldn't shock me if the Rams had a letdown this week, just because of the emotion from last week's game, and you swing into the next week against a divisional opponent that's 3-0 as well too. Now, I didn't expect them to lose like this bad. I thought there'd be a letdown. Maybe they still win the game, but be a closer game. But Arizona came to play. I mean, they came to play on all phases of the ball.
Yeah, it was dominant.
Kyle, why are you muted for? Kyle's muted. You doing? He's doing some. He's doing student.
I mean, you're gonna have weeks like this too. So
yes,
it's a week to week league. We know who the good teams are. We know who the great teams are.
Right.
We know who the bad teams are. You know what I mean? So it's I'm not gonna write the Rams off, or anything, and I'm not gonna overreact to it. But I think it's more about the Cardinals than it is about.
No, absolutely.
The Rams.
That's my takeaway. My takeaway is about the Cardinals. Do the Rams look different to me than they were last week? Not really, honestly, because I can see the Rams winning there when they play again, and then we forget about this game.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? This is about the Cardinals. As we came to the year, when we were doing our predictions about who's make the playoffs, I know Kyle and I are on the same page about all 4 teams into the playoffs.
Yeah, but the Cardinals copied my paper. Correct.
You're still doing that? Okay. Anyway.
Oh no, we are still doing it. Especially like when I had a quick emergency come up on the air, and you got to call it out to the fucking nation like a douche. So yeah, you're gonna get it. So no, listen. All the jabs and kidding aside, here's the question I want the answer to.
Sure.
Because obviously, I never doubted the Cardinals at this point. You saw my paper and was like, "That's a good point." It was at least wise enough to follow the student game once again.
Fair enough.
Why did everybody think the Cardinals were less than going into this? Why did everyone think they were the fourth team?
I don't think it's about the Cardinals being less than, more so how good the Rams were last week, and then the Cardinals had a couple.
No. I'm talking about before the season, brother man.
Oh well, I can't speak on that. I hadn't won the playoffs, so again.
because even back then, we'll take Jimmy G getting hurt out of it because I mean, as sure things of him getting hurt were, he was a step below Carson Wentz, right? That's where I had it personally. And all the people were like, "Oh, Trey Lance needs to play." Like, settle your butts. Winter is coming. Apparently, we didn't even get to damn winter, but
Is it me? Does he remind me of Jeff Garcia a little bit?
Whom are you speaking of?
Trey Lance. Like, this is the way he throws. This is the way he. Not so much like it. This is the way he plays. Like, that's like the.
I'm not prepared to sign off because I need to see more, but that's a compelling concept. There is a similar style piece there.
Right.
And I would say this, if the game were then more like it is today, where quarterback moves the weight,
Oh no, Kyle froze up.
Oh, get a picture of that, please. Get a picture of that, Jim. Get a picture of that.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Hold on.
Oh man,
I got it.
This is the reward I get when
the
baby is 103.
Kyle, you froze up. You froze up for the last 20 seconds, and while you're doing that, you had the funniest face in the world. I just took a picture of it too. I'm gonna send it to you in a second.
It was the perfect time for a screen to freeze.
Screenshot, baby.
That's okay. The rest of the football media doesn't take me seriously either.
Go ahead, Kyle. Finish what you're saying now, because it didn't come through. You froze up. Say you were saying.
No, it's cool.
I sent a picture in our group chat.
Yeah, I'll take a minute. Because going into the season, here's what it was: the Cardinals situation with Kyler Murray, arguably the best duo that they've had on the defensive line, at the defensive end, I should say, off the edge since, because Calais Campbell is amazing. I'll give him his credit. And then versus the dysfunction that's going on in Seattle, and not knowing what you're going to get with the 49ers, with them previously having, 31 players on injured reserve last year. But y'all voted against the Cardinals? No. So I could argue. I could argue that Kyler Murray going into the season was actually the most stable quarterback prospect, because he wasn't griping about his contract like Rusty was, rightfully so, by the way. right?
Right. We're not faulting Wilson, but it's a quote unquote distraction, as the media would say.
Well played. You know, Garoppolo, no matter how many times John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan said, "Can you stop? Grops is the starter," and they're still going, right? You know, and then you have Matt Stafford coming in off a trade. Kyler Murray was the most stable quarterback situation coming into this season, and people doubted the offense. And then they made the upgrades on defense as well. Can somebody tell me? Because somebody needs to hold these Mamma Jams accountable.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I had them as my third wild card. I had the Rams winning the division, the 49ers as my second wild card, and I had the Cardinals as the third. And it wasn't necessarily, it definitely wasn't a slight on the Cardinals. It was just, that's a hard road. That division is a hard road.
It is.
We don't have to tell anybody on this panel about that. And now it looks like, the Cardinals right now, I mean, they're in the driver's seat. I mean, we're only 4 weeks in, but they're right there swinging with the big guys, and there's no surprise. There's no surprise on this side of the table for me anyway.
Yeah, well, and that's why I posted the way I did. We knew our stuff, but and granted, let's be perfectly honest with me. Of a division that's a fantastic four, I put them fourth, but it was due to tie breaks, which I guess could still happen, but not really looking like it would now.
They're turning that tide fairly quick.
Yeah. So.
Well, I guess the surprise was the 4-0 part, and then you win three of those games on the road. I don't give a shit if it's the Jaguars and the Rams. What was the other team they beat on the road? Jaguars, Rams, and Tennessee. Tennessee, week 1.
I would have had them beating Tennessee.
Maybe.
I would have had them beating Tennessee.
They're still doing
the Rams is surprising.
Yeah, of course. The point is, you win 3 games in a row like that out the gate. Two of those teams are playoff teams from last year. Those are good wins. And they do their job.
They're no Jacksonville State, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Still doing that, right? Okay. Anyway, I got them.
Hey, the reason why I'm doing it isn't just to slam you, but to remind Jim's team that he needed overtime to beat yours.
Ooh.
I'm well aware.
Oh, we'll get to know in a second.
See, so it's not going after you, EJ. It's attack economy right there. There's efficiency. There's a science.
Killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Boom.
Everybody's getting a piece of ass right now.
Two. Yes, exactly. 2 very big, sexy birds with 1 stone. See, now you're both happy about it. See, it's psychology, bitches. Gotcha.
Well, speaking of Jim's team, though, we got to discuss this because we've had 2 games since we last podcasted between Monday Night Football last week and now the win against Carolina. Look, I'll say it again. It's fun to make fun of the Cowboys because they're the Cowboys and America's team thingy, whatever. But they're 3-1, and say what you want, but I think they're better than people give credit for. Honestly, I've been very impressed with this team out the gate so far.
That's very nice of you, EJ. But I'm going to make the analogy that Big Jim Nies is not brave enough to do. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
The Cowboys are the Notre Dame of the NFL. They're going to beat the shit out of the ACC, make us think they're legitimate, and lose to legitimate teams and get knocked out of the playoff early.
I don't think...
No, I want a rebuttal from the Notre Dame fan.
Go right ahead. Okay, Jim, go ahead.
Hey, here's the deal. They're only the Cowboys' loss right now is a 2-point loss on the road at the defending champs on opening day.
Yeah, no, that's
the thing I said, and on the offensive side of the ball, I'm being proven right that as long as Dak Prescott is healthy, this offense is going to roll, and they are putting up points and they are putting up yards. Today, I think, was the surprising part because they put up rushing yards more than passing yards. Something I haven't really been able to say in quite a while. But the surprising thing has been defensively. Now, I know they're giving up more points than they should still. But defensively, they are getting a confidence and they're getting a swagger that I haven't seen in Dallas in Name me a decade. Because it's just I can't remember the last time the defense really had any sort of a swagger. They have they have a decent pass rush. And they have some playmakers in the secondary, particularly Diggs, that are making plays and forcing turnovers. So it's encouraging. It's 4 games. So right. Do I think that they're going to win the East? I am not scared I am not scared in any form or fashion what I have seen 4 games through this season that there's going to be any competition coming from the NFC East. It's just not going to be there. The Giants won today, awesome. The Washington won today. They beat Atlanta, and they had to throw everything they could at them to beat Atlanta. Fine. And the Eagles lost today to the Chiefs.
How's Matt doing, by the way? 3 in a row.
So I'm not concerned about that. It's a matter of how's this team going to stack up against everyone else. There's some big games still out there on the schedule. You have a game against the Chiefs. There's some other ones. So, that's when we're going to find out a little bit more. They look good against the Chargers. They looked good against Tampa, even with a loss. But it comes down to health. Now, my only concern is something like we saw today in the fourth quarter, when you don't have a gigantic lead. It's a lead that feels safe. Your best defensive player, or at least your best player in the defensive backfield, was on the sideline for player management, as the wording was. And that's a Mike McCarthy decision. And I guess it's kind of like this pitch count thing in a way that McCarthy does. And I'm going, okay, I mean, I get it. I guess I get at least the theory, but in a game where your opponent is basically has limited possessions left, they're going to be throwing the ball more times than not, and you're going to take your best player in the secondary off the field because some arbitrary pitch count. That seems alarming to me, and that's why it only became an 8-point win. Awesome. And that's where things can just get a little silly. And in year 2, it's the first time where I've really gone, oh, I kind of sense why Packers fans got frustrated with this guy because of decisions like that. Like if you want to do the pitch count thing and you're up 25, 30, sure, by all means. If you're up 2 scores and you're going against an offense that can score points, that's a dangerous game, and I don't like it.
Well, all I can say is, please mention that Ezekiel Elliott seems motivated by what we in the media, and by we I don't mean the 3 of us, but what the media has said about him and him being outdone by Pollard happening this game. And second, at no point in that very eloquent and intelligent speech, Jim, did you say anything to deny my theory. Moving on.
I mean, it's not proven or disproven yet.
That's spoken like a man that could smell the horror around the corner.
I'm a Cowboys fan and a Notre Dame fan. There's always horror around the corner, Kyle.
Then why is my theory so scary to you? Moving on. I don't want to keep tormenting him.
I'm sure he'll bring up the other thing that's going to torment me in a little bit.
So the state of New York it's really the state of New Jersey, got the Sinatra treatment today. New York all won, all in overtime. First game of the year.
There are Titans fans in a lot of places where I sit, and in the words of Desi Arnaz, you got some splaining to do. I don't care if both your top receivers were out or not. You let Zach Wilson do that to you?
Time out a second. Who said this? Who said Texas at 9 a.m. this morning, 10 a.m. this morning, saying, "Hey, Jets a money line looks good."
How many points were you getting?
6 points. We still got to win outright, though. I was saying for the value alone.
No. Listen, I am not knocking your acumen as a degenerate by any stretch of the imagination.
Whoa! That's Zach. That's not me. That's Zach.
I mean,
sure, gambling, man. Anyway,
sure. Yeah, I was gonna say you may not be to the level that guy is, but
you may not be Kenny Rogers, but that doesn't mean you're not the gambler.
I gamble. I do parlay. I don't gamble on basketball. I don't gamble on baseball. I don't gamble on football. So I gamble pretty much 5 months a year.
Right. We're not talking about basketball or baseball. We're talking about football. And you gamble on football, sir.
Compared to us, you're a degenerate. It's relative degeneracy.
I like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Zach is in another world, and I get
it. Zach will tell you. Zach will just sit there and literally like say, "Yeah, I'm a degen."
Yeah, like this cat needs to go to meetings. Is what I'm.
Who said he hasn't already, or does? Don't.
Hey, whether he has or hasn't doesn't change the fact that he needs to.
Well, obviously the more impressive win really is shocking was the Jet game. I guess it should be as shocking anymore considering the fact that Julio doesn't play. AJ Brown didn't play today either.
But like, this is what we get every time from the Titans fans and the Titans team in general. Okay, you cannot believe in this crowd. And I tried to tell you, cats, you've done nothing to answer the big problem of actually winning shootouts. Okay,
got a ding.
Thank you very much. You know, I wrote about it. Yeah, I wrote about it in the preview in the 3-point conversion. Okay, they're gonna win the division. They're not gonna do a lot else. And the great Mike Patton seemed to think that was shortcoming them. Cortland, I'm blanking on his last name, but my fellow 3-point conversion writer and Titan fanboy. Thank you, Jim. Keeps trying to tell me how I'm sleeping on his team and how, according to Pro Football Focus, one of their corners is the second best in coverage in the league.
That shit. Sleep on your team.
Hey, he's a young man. He's still learning the lack of credibility in QBR and that. Trust me, I've crushed it in debates plenty already using. I'm joking, Cortland.
How we see one of the team with the championship like 2 years ago? They're in the conversation. They're just not good enough to get over the hump.
They're not even in the conversation, really.
That's what I'm saying.
They're going to win a division where everybody's young in Jacksonville. It's falling apart in Houston, and the quarterback can't stay on the damn field in Indy.
Right.
Please tell me, like, there's no race there, you know? So I think they're a poor man's Cowboys squad right now. They're going to win that division and be absolutely.
That's the apropos statement. I agree.
Okay. I think the Cowboys. Thank you.
I think the wrong one. Whereas I was looking for my laughter sound.
I think the Cowboys, depending on who it is and who's hurt at the time, could win a playoff game. The Titans have proven to me, and I don't care, they were down their top two receivers. It's the damned Jets. Okay.
Yeah. You can't lose that game. I mean, well, you can again because you're in a terrible division.
Holy shit! Sorry, Brady just did a nice throw on the run. Pretty sick.
On the run
again.
Look at that! Look at him moving outside the pocket.
See it? You saw the throw?
Were they playing Chariots of Fire? I don't. Anyways, no, I'm not even bothering to watch that game because the outcome is clear already. This is not a game. This is a story.
The Pats up by 7-3 now.
Only 7-3. They're slacking.
Almost halftime.
That's a terrible job by the Patriots. I'm thoroughly disappointed. Or excuse me, by the Buccaneers. I'm thoroughly disappointed.
Yeah, it's. I'm a little surprised by this one so far.
So remember the whole thing with the Saints, which seems real. We gone wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off now.
We still there?
What did I say?
I think Jim's there.
They are, man.
I think Jim is there.
They are. It's it's going to be that way. Look, if anybody knows it used to be an 8-8 team, but either a 9-8 team or an 8-9 team, it looks like it's a Cowboys fan. I know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I know what a team that's right in the middle looks like. 100%.
So
hey, I'm around Dolphins fans. EJ knows what that looks like.
Oh yeah. Another takeaway for me this weekend. The Browns are a quiet 3-1. They feel like a grown-up team.
No, they don't.
They do.
No, they don't. You don't win a 14-7 on the Vikings and earn my respect. You don't sneak past.
That's a road, but dude, that's a road game against a fairly tough team. They're not a bad team, Minnesota.
Stop it. That's entirely too much respect for this Minnesota. I'm disappointed to hell and back.
A 10-point win against the Texans, a 20-point win against the Bears, and now a 7-point win against the Vikings. This
is not college football, Jim. This is not college football.
No, it's not college football. I get what you're trying to say. You don't need style points, but yes, they're 3-1. That is an indisputable statistical fact, EJ. You are correct. But I'm not buying it. They have games next week against the Chargers, 2 weeks against the Cardinals. They have a game, back-to-back games with a bye week in between against Baltimore. That's when we're going to find out a little bit more about this Browns team. I don't think we know. 14 points, I get it, man. Even if the Vikings are a middle of the road team, no, you got to do better than that against Minnesota.
They covered.
It doesn't matter.
Who gives a shit, you degenerate?
It has nothing to do with gambling.
They covered.
14 point, so
say
cool.
That for Zach, bitch. What?
Great. Your defense is good. These are that's something we know. You held a team for 7 points, and I guess your theory is, if all you and theoretically all you have to do is score more points than your opponent, which they were even able to do today. But not every team you're going to play, especially when you get into the playoffs, is the Minnesota Vikings. So
correct. Actually, none of them are, Jim.
Right, exactly. And that's the issue. If they can only just cover against against Minnesota, that's not going to get you far in the postseason.
See, he's stuck, and I get it as a Patriots fan why this would happen. Is he's stuck on the Parcells you are what your record says you are thing. And that simply is not true this early in the season. That's the facts of the case. I'm glad he remembers that there were coaches before Belichick that were in the franchise. But
right. I will say though, I will say there's definitely stuff that they need to work on. The offense is still kind of, and the running game is fantastic, but it's Baker's kind of on and off here and there. So, but if you're 3-1 and you still have room to improve, that's a good spot to be in.
Oh, it's a good spot to be in, sure. But if you want me believing in them, if you want me to, they're a big boy team or whatever it was you said.
There's no drama. There's no drama around them. Odell is back there. Beckman's back. He's not.
You see, I have him on one of my fantasy teams, and he hasn't proven he's back yet.
No, I'm saying he's back on the team. It's no distractions. There's none of this fucking drama around the team. It's just the playing games and winning games and just moving on.
Because they're 3-1.
Yeah,
the minute those close games turn to losses, that's when Beckham shows up.
But they're not right now.
Not in a good way.
Yeah, that's adorable. They're not right now. That's what we're trying to tell you. It's another EJ knee-jerk reaction of you saying they're a grown-up team. Okay?
No, me too.
I wasn't trying to be this blunt, but you're leaving. You're
now, Kyle, how many years we doing this now? 8 years now?
Boy, are you a glutton.
Jesus.
You are a sexy beast, though. Don't
and the scary thing for them is, I don't know what the Bengals are yet, but the Bengals are 3-1 as well. So you have 2 games against them. You have 2 games against 3-1 Baltimore. You're going to have to start getting better than 14-7 versus Minnesota, even to get out of your division.
Correct.
I mean, luckily they have 2 games against the Steelers, which sitting in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania, watching the wheels fall off of that bus just is one of the most enjoyable things I've seen in a long time in football. But But yeah, it's yes, the Browns are 3-1, and that's good for them because not only do they have room to grow, they need to fucking grow.
I was about to say they gonna need it exactly.
Otherwise the Browns. And I'm not picking on the Browns. I actually kind of want the Browns to succeed. But if they don't improve where they need to improve, they're going to prove the narrative of, same old Browns, even if you shine a turd a little bit. And I'm being purposely obtuse, but
be so obtuse.
You just they got to clean it up. They got to clean it up if they want to be proven to be for real.
And real quick, I'm just going to get this out there quickly, and no offense to my good friend L.A. Broadus, but the Browns swag that they're throwing out there, on social media nowadays, I'm like, bitch, you're like 4 or 5 years removed from 1-31. Sit down. All right?
Dude, let them
Can we
have
actually
this,
use
man.
the word Browns swag?
Bro, the fans think they got it. That's what I'm telling you. It's ridiculous. God. Exactly. You're on my page, Jim.
You go like, wow.
What else stood out? What else stood out in week 4 for you guys? Anything else? Any other narratives? Any hot takes?
Belichick is still more necessary to the Patriots' success than Brady, and anybody else who thinks so is a raging idiot. There, I said it.
Ooh.
Oh, I agree with that. Like Brady's success in Tampa Bay is because of the roster in Tampa Bay.
Thank you.
Like he's doing what he needs to do, but like absolutely. And we like the question that we always thought we were going to get is like, well, when Belichick and Brady aren't together anymore, will we ever find out? Was Brady? Did Brady make Belichick better? Did Belichick make Brady better? I mean, here's what I know: Bill Belichick's like best coach of all time. I mean, the guy's a fucking master,
right?
And if there's going to be any success in New England moving forward, it's going to be because of him, not in spite of Brady. Period.
Right. Okay. Quickly, college football yesterday. Well, Saturday. Well, this comes out Monday, so Saturday.
What a car accident.
This season is fucking crazy.
It's fucking crazy. It is crazy. I mean, what for me the clear thing right now is this: it's Georgia and Alabama and anybody else. That's clear now, even more than ever.
I feel like it was clear last week, but it's clearer. I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
only clearer.
Right.
The one thing I'm going to say right now, and even as somebody who covers somebody who's in the group of 5 for at least this season and maybe one more, we need to stop talking about BYU in the final. They have no business there. You demolishing Utah State does not impress me. Give me something.
Well, that's a rubbing. Okay. Well, let me ask a question real quick, because I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to go here to see the result. But right now, what we're getting is Georgia just fucking dominating through and through against quality teams through 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. My question is this: are you comfortable saying that they're the clear-cut best team in college football, or do you have to see it to believe it when they play Alabama?
They're the second. I think they're the second best team still. But if the pollsters put them at number 1, I don't have a problem with it. That's kind of where I sit, right? Okay. And I know that's kind of straddling the fence, but for the reason that we haven't seen it, but we damn sure gonna, right? And I'll wait for that. Kind of like you do on your power rankings when people gripe them like, "Hey, I thought about it, but they play this week, so I'm going to look at it." It's actually one of your more mature and intelligent things you do on your top 10 when you're not petty as hell and hating on teams just because you don't like them because they beat your team a lot.
Apparently, people think I'm soft on Seattle, which is weird.
Define soft.
Like for years, Seahawks. Why are they in the top 10 for? They shouldn't be.
Oh no, you have verbally filleted, or actually in that case graphically filleted them a little bit. They're kind of right, not consistently, but you have been very generous to them. Your love for Russell Wilson, or at least what it used to be, did show at times. Don't say it still is, because you say he's not the 2017 MVP. That's proof you don't, and it's okay.
And let's be honest, if we're talking about like power rankings, and this isn't like people like that's what they're basically whoever's writing them's opinion, because they don't. And this isn't. I've had an issue like people overweight power rankings. Like I know you do them for fun, EJ. Like and like it's your take on who's the top 10 and the bottom 5, and that's all. Like that's all well and good. But like so many people, like fans, look at power rankings as like written in stone fact when it's really who's ever putting them together, whether it's an individual person or a ESPN like writers, they all form an agreement on this is the ESPN power rankings for the week. That's all it is. It's an opinion on who it literally it's a talking point.
And if you know EJ, you know his predispositions, and if you've been watching it, even within the course of a season, let alone over the years, he has a certain formula. And no, this isn't a smack. This is an observation.
Yeah, 100%.
And the reason why I asked the question this week that I did, this was one of your better ones for this season. I feel like in 19, you were on point an awful lot. Your 49er hate was ridiculous, but then they compelled your hand and made you realize you couldn't stop them because they end up in the fucking Super Bowl.
Let's come and shoot the 49er hate.
So, but knowing the source, when they made it even into like the top 5, I knew, oh, EJ must be hurting inside. But all that joking aside, this year you've been pretty spot on. And the only question I had, or I should say this week, you were pretty spot on. The only question I had was the Raiders, and you were even kind of like, meh.
In hindsight, honestly, I kind of agree. Think about it a little bit, a little high.
And I'll tell you, if they do win on Monday, you have no choice.
But it's sticking around.
Yeah.
So, but if we're looking at college, and you talked about the top teams, to me, I mean, again, not that it necessarily matters, because the Alabama and Georgia should remain undefeated until they play each other in the SEC title game. But to me, Georgia's the best team in the country right now. Alabama's 1A. Like it literally, I think it is them. I mean, you're splitting hairs.
Is it on the strength of Florida sneaking back in that game against Alabama?
No, I just, to me, it's more, and I mean, obviously the Clemson, the Clemson win isn't worth the paper it's written on. But to me, I think Georgia and doing what they did this weekend. Now, I don't necessarily buy that Arkansas was the 8th best team in the country.
Well, keep in mind, they were crushing Big 12 teams, and they play defense in the SEC. That's what we learned.
Right. So, but even still, you played what was the 8th ranked team in the country. It's not even that you both shut them out and put up 37 points. So it's to me, to me, like Georgia seems like the more complete package right now.
See, that's a big boy explanation. Well done, Jim. I respect that.
So again, we'll as long as, and they certainly both should go undefeated the rest of the way, we'll find out. And what I said, and I'll tie this into what the question, or the forcing me to address the elephant in the room with what happened in South Bend on Saturday.
Oh, hey.
Like, wait. What happened in South Bend on Saturday?
Like I said,
so like, take it easy there, Jacksonville State.
What did I say before Notre Dame and Wisconsin played? I can't remember if it was on my show or this show, but I said Cincinnati needs Notre Dame to beat Wisconsin and come into that game undefeated. Mm-hmm. And then if they win, that's the win they hang their hat on, and those things happen.
Yes.
So that's a great win for Cincinnati.
The problem is the hook for that hanger has been put in a significantly lower spot on the wall thanks to things going around. And no, that's not a Toledo/Purdue/FSU shot. That's the Big Ten dropping in prestige and taking away from that Wisconsin
one. You and I'm not just trying to fillet my own team here, but you still went in to South Bend and beat the 9th ranked Fighting Irish, who hadn't lost at home in 4 seasons.
I respect you distancing yourself from the self-fellation there, but self-fellatio there. But I want the record to be clear. This isn't a shot at you.
No, I get it.
This is me looking at it from the point of view of what the committee will say when inevitably, once again, every G5 team is kept out of the playoff for no good reason. They're going to play the weak schedule card. You all can argue me on this all you want.
I get it. I don't fault you for your stance on this, especially because of a team that you cover. So like I don't fault you for it. But if there was going to be a season, and I know you've heard this before, but if there was going to be a season where a group of 5 school gets in, this is the one. I think this really is the one.
And especially after this weekend, when you have not just Notre Dame. Well, I mean, Notre Dame was in the top 5, but Oregon.
Right, like Notre Dame, for all intents and purposes, they dead. It's over.
I'll put it this way: if the first Hangover movie wasn't that good, the next 2 aren't going to convince me. Well, because if the committee wasn't going to let the 2017 Knights in, and they had to use the Collie matrix to get a national championship, okay? If that decision was bad, the next two aren't going to be any better.
Here's why I feel like this is actually the one. And like, I understand the schedule not there, but Alabama and Georgia will lose their way out of it, and or they play each other. So and if that game's close, both of those are good teams getting into the playoff.
Bingo.
Yep. But if it's a blowout, they don't. But now here's the thing. Penn State and Iowa play each other this weekend. If Iowa loses to Penn State,
goodbye.
They done. Because they're in the weak half of the Big Ten. They done. They are. No. This is their game. I mean, yes, they beat Iowa State. They beat a then ranked but actually crappy Indiana team. The rest of the way they play Purdue, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Minnesota, Illinois, Nebraska. If they lose, they're out. Penn State, yes, there's still opportunities there because you still have Ohio State, Michigan State on the schedule. All three of those are in the top 15. Spoiler alert, Penn State's not getting through their schedule clean. They're not.
No.
They're not.
History is proven that already.
They are not.
They have a loss, right? They have a loss already.
Ohio State is going to lose at least one more. Like,
I can't trust Michigan.
I have to. I can't say that I don't, because like ears here in this house. You know what I mean?
Your boss, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they had a boss. She hears things.
Shall I send you the clip for Colonel Nathan R. Jessup for when she hears the truth from me?
So at I'll say this, at most one Big Ten team. At most.
Sure. But that's all it takes is the one.
By default, though. Almost.
But if you're looking at the rest of the top 15, and I get it's AP poll versus whatever the playoffs is going to be, but literally, like the math is literally there, Kyle. And I get, I'm not trying to convince you.
No, I know you're not. But for the audience at home, what you and they are forgetting is the committee actually differentiates and segregates and devalues G5 wins versus P5 wins. And Cincinnati's schedule, I know you know, but that's going to matter. And even when it shouldn't, even when the record is worse, and that ACC you trounced through last year when you were a member of a conference briefly there, when you came in and murked that ish to prove me right in a way that I haven't been proven before. Unfortunately, your team has also given me fire here to believe in no way, shape, form, or fashion. And hey, listen, you know what? I'll close the book with this in your favor, Jim. I am more than happy to admit I am wrong and let you dance on the grave of my argument when they actually pull the trigger.
I'm trying to look here. Okay, so the first playoff rankings come out in a month. So we have a month for things to shake out a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Who knows what the hell else is going to change in the next month, but
yeah,
I will be really curious to see what the first playoff ranking looks like. That's when we'll really find out, because if Cincinnati's in the top 5, just based on all the other teams that will have to play each other throughout the rest of the way, I think it's Cincinnati's spot to lose. They have to avoid now thinking that they are untouchable.
That schedule looking pretty damn close though.
And I get that, but like, how many times, especially in college, do we see a team end up losing a game they shouldn't because they think there's no way they can lose? And to me, that's the only battle left for Cincinnati. There's no reason they should lose a game. If they lose another game, they beat themselves. Much like the fucking and
here he goes.
No. I am not taking credit away. Cincinnati came into Notre Dame and they did what they had to do.
And we're favored, by the way.
And they were favored. My frustration with Notre Dame in this game is, I think, as much as Cincinnati beat Notre Dame also beat Notre Dame, because there was two terrible decisions to throw up passes while you were getting hit. One was Jack Cohn, one was Tyler Buckner, that both turned into interceptions. One of those interceptions was at the goal line on your opening drive. The other gave Cincinnati a 20-yard field. And then you turn the ball over again on a poor decision, or just a poor job fielding a kickoff that gave Cincinnati a short field, that Notre Dame's defense again stepped up and held Cincinnati to a field goal. And then you didn't turn the keys over to Drew Pine, who is the only quarterback out of the three to make your offense look like anything productive all season. He saved your ass against Wisconsin. He almost saved your ass this week. And you only put him in at halftime in the second half. And even on his opening drive, you moved the ball 45 yards down the field with ease. You bring in Buckner for a play. That didn't work. And then the drive stalled and you punted. So Notre Dame got in its own way so many times this weekend, when if you would have just played the guy who, in my opinion, earned the spot by literally putting the team on his back last week in Chicago, and you failed to put him in against halftime when nothing else was working in the first half, Notre Dame deserved to lose.
Well, this is what Brian Kelly does, right, boss?
Oh, of course. It's a game they shouldn't have lost, but it's a game they deserve to lose.
I'm not going to go as far as shouldn't have. Maybe it should have been a win only by a score, and maybe it should have been closer. I'm not here to say that they wouldn't won it.
Definitely a statement win, though, for Cincinnati.
No question. I mean,
absolutely. And that's what I mean. I'm not my saying that. I know people will say, well, you're trying to take it away. I'm not trying to take anything away from Cincinnati. They did everything they had to do.
Oh, they did everything great, but they shouldn't have had it. No, I'm kidding. But I'll put it this way. And yes, it's a statement win. But unfortunately, the value of that win is impacted, at this point already. Hashtag Jacksonville State.
But they also need Notre Dame to not lose again.
And I'm not convinced that'll happen at this
because of the week of schedule. They need Notre Dame to beat up some wins.
They need Notre Dame to win out. I think if we'd no longer have a quarterback controversy on our hands, which I don't see how we do, but I mean, you have your toughest test, in my opinion, is this Saturday night at Virginia Tech. Right. And I mean, you can't, but that literally is. And it's more environment based as opposed to team based. And Notre Dame has to go in and silence the crowd.
I mean, isn't Michigan on the schedule at least? That'd be something.
This year?
They don't play Michigan this year. It's Virginia Tech, USC, North Carolina, Navy, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Stanford.
Not horrible, but
that is a terrible schedule. The only credibility you have there is Stanford toppling Oregon, and that ain't much because Stanford's bad beyond that. Anyways,
and wow. Oregon was bound to Oregon.
Correct.
Ohio State. Oh, what a weird year, dude.
See, Stanford toppling Oregon isn't that weird. That has happened before, gentlemen.
No. That's not weird. It's the weird season in general.
This whole season's darn weird.
Fucking nuts. I love it. Now that Notre Dame lost and they're out of the playoff, let every crazy scenario happen. Fucking let Alabama lose. Let Georgia lose. Let everybody in the top five.
To the ground.
Hey, remember that time?
Everybody that isn't Cincinnati in the top five fucking lose at this point.
Remember that time Texas A&M was pretty good?
No, I don't.
No, but I'll say this. Your team losing.
No. Hell
no. Your team losing the way they did, and looking the way they have with the schedule that they've got, and UCF, just stinking it up and having all the injury issues that they do. are doing everything they can, so I will be covering yet another game in Orlando with Brian Kelly in it. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not mad about that either.
I was going to say, you're in the house with the greatest coach in Notre Dame history, so.
Hey, listen, the only way I can get better, I mean, I did have Saban and Jim Harbaugh in the same press conference once.
Shit, that's right. That's the day Jadeveon Clowney knocked the guy's head clean off his body.
No. That was well before that. No, I'm talking about the Citrus Bowl over here. I think it was 19. So, yeah, no, that Jadeveon Clowney hit was well before that.
I think that was also in Orlando, if I have memory serves.
Before we go, I found the soundbite I was looking for a few weeks back. You remember this, Jim? Oh, wait, it's the wrong one. Hold on. That's the wrong one. Reset it again. Sorry about that. This fucking my ass, man.
This is Bill O'Reilly on Inside Edition. We'll play it live.
Do it live. He has that too.
Do it live.
Yeah, I knew you did. I don't know how I knew. I just knew.
This one. Hold on. Here it is. Hold
on. Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is, or
Kyle Nash in the background.
Yes, that's so good. That is good. Or whatever. Trubisky or whatever.
Are they done blaming Matt Nagy in Chicago? By the way, are we over that foolishness now? Dumbass.
No, of course not.
Oh no.
Yeah, right.
Oh no.
Hell to the no, to the no, to the no. Hell to the. Anyways.
Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is, or.
I don't know what's worse, the fucking Trubisky part or the Kyle's laughing again.
That's me?
That's you, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. I made the board, bitches. Woo!
Name is,
I don't laugh like that. Come on.
Well, no, I'm like Mark Hamill as the Joker. I have a bunch of different laughs, bro. Right?
Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is, or
hell, that does sound kind of like the Joker.
That's a fucking Joker laugh, bro.
Listen, there it is. Listen, I want to get into voice acting, so hey, listen, let's do it.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is, or
sorry, yeah, I did it again.
Yeah, you're worse than the damn Rome show with the damn sound.
Oh no, Laboratory's fucking. This is bad too. Oh my god.
Oh well, I don't listen to non-sports shows very much.
Hey-o!
See, and I don't know why EJ takes that so harsh.
And I don't care. No, the thing is though, that's kind of the whole point of the show, because Stu Gotts is the sports guy who loves classic sports radio. Laboratory's the more straightforward, that kind of, wanting to talk.
Nothing. Hold on. And I'm not saying he's bad. The one thing you cannot describe Levitard as is straightforward. That mofo is all over the damn place on his show.
What I'm saying,
and that's part of what makes it work.
That's what I'm saying. Stu Gotts is the one that likes to do classic sports radio, takes all the shit. We get observations the best, dude. The best.
Listen. We know who I model my performance after, and he's much better.
Eric Casillas.
Partially. Colin Cowherd. That's right.
Well, Colin Cowherd is a run-of-the-mill sports guy.
But he describes his stuff with things outside of sports and makes metaphors and simile and does all that.
Does he laugh like this though?
No.
Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is, or
he does not. He has a very distinct laugh when he does, but it is not that.
That's great.
Hey, I got to do something to brand myself, and listen. And if I become the class clown instead of student of the game, and I need that laugh to do it, and it gets me somewhere, let's do this.
Who's the back quarterback of Buffalo Bills?
Trubisky or.
Thank you. Who's?
Anyways, let's wrap up this car accident, guys.
Right,
holy snap!
Fucking plug your shit.
Oh right, the celebrity goes last. Of course, I'm Kyle Nash.
Wait a second. Before you do anything,
here he goes.
I think I have to prepare because you are also celebrity as well too. You got a lot of shit going on.
I do have a list. That's true.
Yeah, so I just have to make sure I get that shit going. All right, go ahead.
All right, of course. So I am Kyle Nash, the Steal of the Game. You can find me on Twitter as the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my work on the 3-point conversion. That's the number 3. 3pointconversion.com, covering UCF and Jaguar football, among other things. And of course, check out my work with Demosthenes Euclid on the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel. I know that EJ struggles to get there because it has video.
That's a lie.
So, that's why it's funny. Just like your New York Giants fanhood is a lie. Anyways, so
oh, you dickhead! What the fuck?
Don't poke the bear. You don't want to get swatted. Anyways, of course, Demosthenes has announced on Twitter officially that on October 13th, new episodes will finally return.
Whoa!
Because I was about to shout.
Wait, what you guys talking about?
It's some stuff that we've recorded so long ago, I honestly forget what the target's going to be.
Oh, so it's shit already done in the can, just haven't put it out yet. That's
correct. Apparently, I know that Demos does work at a church, which means he doesn't put out. I'm joking. No. In all honesty, his schedule has been ridiculous, and then, dealing with certain things over there in Rock City and whatnot. But he's back online. Enough of that woe is me crap. October 13th announced the return of Hilarity by Default on the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel. Check it out. Default Hilarity on Twitter, by the way, to give Demos his shouts because, he's cool. Anyways, of course, my work as well with Beyond the Buzzer, currently airing at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Beyond the Buzzer Facebook page. Again, something else that EJ struggles with, a video presentation. We are working on the podcast. We'll see what we can do to make that happen. And then lastly, of course, my work with the Captain and Company morning show with oldschool101.com and my man, Captain Chris Hill. A lot of fun guys tonight. But until next time, class dismissed. What the hell was that?
It's a gong.
Oh, there it is.
Hilarious.
It's hilarious, right?
That's good.
Is that hilarious as Trubisky?
You should no, nothing's that hilarious. You should get for right when he starts saying class dismissed, you should get the Saved by the Bell.
Whoa. Who's that?
Like when the bell rings at the start of the Saved by the Bell theme song. You should get that. You're welcome. I'm
thanks, man.
I already have it. I can send it to you.
I'm teaching you how to make a better soundboard. You're welcome.
You say mine is shitty?
I didn't say that.
Well, he's admitting is
half of it's my sounds.
Not really. Like
what he's admitting is he needs the Maui. He needs the "You're Welcome" song with Maui as part of his soundboard now.
But you can find me. You can find me on Twitter at Big Jim Sports. Of course, we have Huddle Up Podcast. Most weeks, it's these two and some of my other cohorts. But actually, this week we're going to have the guys from the Dollar Dogs and Beer podcast because the baseball playoffs are just about upon us. So they're going to be joining me to preview that. What's that?
You should invite Kyle on the show.
So he can sit there and look pretty? I mean, if he wants to show up and look pretty, he could certainly do that.
Look at my hair. It's so gorgeous.
There we go. But, we can, we're gonna obviously talk a lot about the MLB postseason. Of course, there will be football discussion as well. That is on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, Facebook, Twitter, and the YouTube channels for the Huddle Up Podcast. And then Thursday nights, wrestling show, 3 Count Thursday, the number 3 as well. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern time and, talking wrestling. So follow us on Facebook and Twitter there. Like I said, at Big Jim Sports, everything is on all podcast platforms. I dare you to try to find one that our shows are not on. And if you do, just let me know and I'll make sure it gets on there. It's that simple. But until next time, gentlemen. What's that?
Your show's on fucking could be finding podcasters. This fucking guy in my bottom right screen. I thought Danny. Hey, Danny Thompson, get your shit together. Get the fucking thing on the podcast, man. How about that?
There you go.
I need that laugh now. I'm found that fucking laugh now right there.
Deserves all the dings.
I'm gonna text Daniel to this fucking podcast. Hey, listen, get the fucking shows on the podcast. I can listen to it. Just for me.
Kyle's fault. Don't blame Kyle.
I'm not blaming Kyle at all. I'm
lucky
just
to have Kyle.
But Kyle gets
We're so blessed. That's right.
Wants to have Kyle.
That's all. So, anyway, good job, guys.